Hello, my name is Johnny, and I support horror. This week, I watched what I think was a highly anticipated horror movie that was supposed to come out a few months ago, but it finally released, called Antebellum. It was slated to release in theaters of April 2020 this year, but of course, just like many other features that had a release date during COVID, kept getting pushed and pushed. Finally, they settled on a release date of September 18th, at least in the US they did, for on-demand home viewing. When a major release like this one is for on-demand only, lately it runs a price tag of around $20 to rent, and Antebellum is no exception. It's the same price for on-demand as they did for The Hunt, The Invisible Man, and You Should Have Left. So I rolled the dice on this one, seen a lot of mixed reviews on Twitter, paid the $20, and watched Antebellum. Was it worth the hype? Let's talk about it, horror fam. Antebellum is a horror drama mystery movie written and directed by Gerard and Christopher Renz. Now, one of the movie's marketing tactics when pushing the film was to slap on from the producers of Get Out. Out of the 10 producers that worked on Antebellum, 3 of them also worked on Get Out. And I enjoyed Get Out, mainly because of that crazy twist ending, and I'd heard there was also a crazy big twist ending in Antebellum, which we will get to later. Let's talk about the storyline first. The film opens up on a plantation in Louisiana that looks like to be operated by the Confederate Army sometime during the Civil War. It's here where our main character Eden is being held captive against her will and is brutally branded and raped by this Confederate general just known as him. A new group of slaves is brought to the plantation, and many of them go straight to Eden in hopes that she would help them escape. Eden does have a plan, but keeps insisting that the slaves just keep their head down, do the work, do as they're told until the right time comes. One night after falling asleep, Eden awakes now in modern day as Veronica Henley, who is a renowned sociologist and a famous author about to embark on a book tour. She has no idea what kind of hell is going to be brought on her, and since I don't want to spoil anything, you won't either until you watch this movie. Antebellum is cut into 3 different parts with creative transitions in between the 3 acts. The first act, we get a harrowing look at this plantation. The slaves are forced into silence, treated extremely harshly, work in the cotton fields under the hot sun, and if they try any sort of escape, they are killed on sight and then burned in a crematorium. Now, I think we can all agree just how evil and awful plantations were during slavery. We have an idea of all the terrible things that went on at them, but in this movie, during the first act, they really honed in on the awfulness of these super strict slave owners, and how they ran the plantation was very cultish. You sense this was nothing like the other plantations, and even when the new slaves came in, the general would tell all of them just how strict it would be. The slaves literally had not even the most basic of freedoms. Now, around 40 minutes in, the second act begins. This is where we see the character building of Veronica, her fight for social justice, and her big success as an author. But unfortunately, this is where the movie kind of starts losing me. There are a couple important scenes here in Act 2 that set us up perfectly for Act 3, but in my opinion, for the most part, the scenes in Act 2 just don't move the story forward. She goes on her book tour, she goes out to eat with friends. It's like these long scenes where I'm thinking, okay, where the hell is this going? Finally, with only 35 minutes left in the movie, a major event happens, and then we enter Act 3. This is where the twist of the movie is revealed, and it's where the movie finally becomes horror and comes to life, in my opinion. The twist is a game changer. Once you realize what's going on, your head goes back to the beginning of the movie, and you just think how truly awful this plantation is. It's even worse than you thought. In the first act, when it's all in the plantation, you're thinking, okay, it can't get any worse than this. This is hell on earth. Then they flip the script with this big twist, and you're thinking, okay, it's so much worse. It's that much more dark. It's also where we get some callbacks from the first act where it maybe didn't make sense at the time, but now they do, and they show us why in Act 3. Now, I should say the third act isn't necessarily where the horror begins. It's just that the last 25 minutes or so have a more horror movie feel to it. It has more suspense, tension, and gore. The underlying message that they were trying to convey in this film, and it's literally given to us on a card at the beginning, is the past is never dead. It's not even the past, which is a quote by William Faulkner. They used that quote to push the strong message of the past is not dead, and systemic racism and oppression is very still alive today. When I'm critiquing this movie as just a simple lover of cinema and my love for horror, I see the important message here. I just feel like this movie missed the mark on creating that major suspense, thrill, and atmosphere that we come to expect from a good horror movie. This movie felt like more of a drama, mystery, thriller, rather than horror. When those elements of horror take a backseat to a statement or a strong message, no matter how important the message is, I feel like the movie kind of suffers for it. And hey, maybe the filmmakers here thought it was more important to use a major motion picture as a platform and just try to convey that message to the masses, as it is very topical right now. Overall, the cinematography was great, and the twist of the movie really got me and helped turn this into more of a horror movie at the end, but it was just too late. And I just had too many questions at the end of the movie, like, for example, who were these people that owned the plantation? How did they create this operation? You know, I wanted to peek behind the curtain of how they set this all up. And I think they missed an opportunity there to show us that in this movie. I had more questions than that, but, you know, I don't want to spoil anything. Don't want to give anything away. You'll just have to watch it. I've seen some very mixed reviews for Antebellum. Right now, for example, on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's only around 27%. But if you want to see Antebellum, I know it's available right now on demand for $20. I personally recommend maybe waiting on it. Maybe down the road the price will drop a little bit, but you know what? It's up to you, horror fam. And with that, I will let you go. Hey, thanks for coming by my channel and watching this video and my thoughts on Antebellum. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I hope you do so right now. And you know what? Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And let's be friends to the end, people. You know you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Horror Hack. Once again, my name is Johnny. Keep supporting horror, and this has been one hack of a show.